Well, the land that we're on right here today has been in the family, I would say, since the 1840s. My grandmama, my daddy's mama, she owned all this property. Right back through here where we were at, the house that my daddy was born in, sitting right back there. It's grown up all around us, but Daddy's not gonna sell another inch of land. What we got, we're gonna keep, because they don't make land no more. Mom and Daddy had 3 sons, no daughters, just 3 sons, and all 3 of us worked in law enforcement. I literally started in law enforcement the week after I graduated from high school. I went in the military. After that, I come back, and this is just a few of the things that I was involved in. I was fortunate enough to get my bachelor's degree and my master's degree in criminal justice. I was a member of the original SWAT team for the sheriff's office. I wanted this community to remember my family for doing the positive things, not this one negative thing in my life. It started earlier in the day. Was getting harassing, threatening, obscene phone calls from a young man that was had a relationship with our daughter. She's 16 years old. I felt like that what happened that night, that day, I was a victim. I dealt with victims of crimes for all those years, and I saw the bad side of what man can do to another man, and I didn't want to be a victim.
The calls started when my daughter broke up with her boyfriend, and they had been together for over a year. They started texting and calling her, threatening her, and then it moved into calling my husband. There was lots of screaming and yelling and nasty, threatening texts that left us to believe that they were going to come over and harm us.
The threats that he made and other people that got on the phone towards me and my family were serious. So when it reached the point of me getting physically involved into it, I took it serious. I had to, because I was trying to protect my family.
My daughter's boyfriend's best friend, he was on parole for stabbing a man. So, we had no idea what we were getting into if they would have showed up at the house like they said they were going to do.
The things they were going to do to me and my family, my loved ones, whip us, beat us, rape us. That was the type of thing that I was told over the telephone repetitively over 10 to 20 phone calls.
They said they know where we live, they know where Carla's room is, my daughter, and that went on all day into the evening to where they were shouting on the phone.
I told them I was going to reach the point very quickly that I was going to call the sheriff's office and have them prosecuted for the phone calls. And then my daughter came to me and said, he just wants some property that he's got over here that I had. And so we made arrangements for him to come pick up the property at my family's mailbox on the highway. And that's where we actually led up to the actual events that generated my arrest. When I heard that and I saw Carla walking back towards the house, I went back into the home, into my house, got my firearm, and I came out. You got to understand, this was total darkness. I don't know the exact time, but it was total darkness. But I did see 2 figures in and out of the beams of light from the cars.
And Buddy got in protective mode and went out to see what was going on. Well, I don't know what I would have done if he hadn't been there.
I kept it at a low, ready, safe position all the time. I never took the safety off. When I got to here, a vehicle pulled off the side of the road. And I said, man, get gone from here and don't come back. The window goes down and says, I'm not a man, I'm his mother. And she responded she was going to call the cops. And I said, fine, call them. 2 people come running down, jumped in the vehicle, they were gone. And about 30 to 45 minutes later, the sheriff's office shows up. One of the deputies went out of his way to say, hey, I wish I didn't have to do this, but. And one of the alleged victims even said, I know what's going to happen. You're not going to arrest him because of who he was. My mistake was not putting on my britches and putting my holster on me. And if I'd have had it here, this probably would have never happened.
He's very careful and practices safety with his gun and taught me and my daughter safety of a gun. It was important to him that we know how to use one. I was heartbroken when I saw the patrol car leaving with my husband, when all he was doing was protecting his home, his property, his family.
You cannot plan for everything, but with the literally thousands of hours of training that I went through over the years, I'm not sure I was totally prepared for it. Anybody that owns a gun and decides they're going to take it out once a month or once every 3 months and fire the thing just to make sure it's working, they might as well throw it away. You need to take the information that the USCCA gives in their little cards as to what you should do. I believe one of your cards says, tell the law enforcement personnel where the firearm is, tell them where any of the actual actors of the incident are, and then say, I don't want to talk until my attorney's present. Most people in those situations will try to talk themselves out of going to jail. There is more people that when they are in that situation, and my years of interviewing suspects, I have had 90% of the people that went to jail talk themselves into jail. They didn't talk themselves out of it.
We just wanted him to come home because he is our protector and he makes us feel safe. And without him, we were scared to go to sleep at night.
Well, my name is James Danaher. I am the partner at the USCCA Law LLC. A case like Buddy's is more common than you'd think. A lot of times when any guns are involved, any firearm or handguns are involved, law enforcement is called, and it doesn't matter if you're on your property or not. So I think it is more common than people would think, that if they're in their home with their firearm that there would be no problems. The reason that a police officer would detain, at least temporarily, and ultimately arrest would be because of the seriousness of how people treat firearms, and they don't want to certainly make a mistake.
I did consider calling my home insurance, et cetera, et cetera. Most insurance companies have a rider specifically on your home insurance that if you're in the process of committing a crime, you're not covered by any way through the insurance company. And at that point, I was accused of committing a crime. And so they weren't going to cover me. And I contacted them and they said, no, sorry, can't help you.
Most homeowners' policies do not cover any criminal action, certainly do not pay for any defense attorney, so it would not be covered under a standard homeowner's policy.
It just hit me, I need to call USCCA.
My name is Corey Feeble and I'm the director of the USCCA Critical Response Team. My role is to facilitate members that might be involved in a self-defense related incident, and that includes coordination of their insurance benefits, their attorneys, and overall helping them on a journey to recovery after a self-defense incident. I received the call from Buddy. It was December 18th, 2015. It was about 12:30 in the afternoon. He gave me a call and advised me that he was involved in an incident that happened about 3 days prior. My initial thoughts when I received the call from Buddy was, why didn't you call us right away when this happened?
It didn't dawn on me until that point after I was released that, you know, this organization that you'd made, had been a member of for just over a month could do the things that they were willing to do.
He had an attorney that he was interested in using. He just wasn't sure about the means to pay for that attorney. And my thought was right away to calm him down and let him know, your USCCA benefits have you covered. We're going to get you through this. Once you sign up, once you become a member, you're immediately covered. It doesn't make a difference if you've been a member for 30 days or 10 years.
But there was 2 incidents during this entire thing that I really felt calm, and that's when I sat down with my attorney and he said, Buddy, I know you well enough. You need to stop worrying about this. He said, let me take care of this, don't you worry. And the second time was when we were making arrangements to make his payments made to him through the USCCA.
Without the USCCA, we probably would have had to get a very big loan. We probably would have had to start selling some property. They were there and they took care of everything, and quickly.
My attorney fees were astronomical, in excess of $11,000. $11,000 I was going to have to pull out of my pocket. And I never had anyone hesitate to give me and my attorney that money. My bond, they reimbursed my family for that. My bond was $5,000 and had to come up through a bail bondsman, had to come up with $500. My daddy wrote him a check for $500 just to get me out of jail. Daddy had that money back in his bank account within 3 or 4 days. If this would have gone to trial, go through the entire process, which it comes in stages, it would have cost me, with my private attorney, it would have cost me in excess of $50,000 that I don't have. Without the USCCA coming to my rescue, I'd have probably been selling some of my firearms, getting rid of some of my property. I'm not a rich man. My mom and daddy weren't rich. But before I went to my daddy and said, you know, Daddy, I've got one of two choices. I'm going to go to prison for 3 years minimum, or we're going to have to sell some of the property. I would never ask my daddy to do that because this property means too much to my family. I'd have sat in prison before I'd have done that. Thank goodness I had the USCCA that did come and help me fill in those voids. I had been a member and made one monthly payment when this took place. What the USCCA has proven to me that they can and will do, I'd put them right up there with health insurance. I'd put them right up there with auto insurance. That every month when I send them $30, I enjoy it because I know what they can do for me. And it's the best $30 I've ever spent. And as long as I'm staying on this side of the dirt, I'm gonna be a member. Anybody that owns a firearm and does not have the assistance from an organization like USCCA, you might as well throw that firearm away because you're going to be throwing your property away. You're going to be throwing your livelihood away. You're going to cease to exist when it comes to liberties. I didn't feel like I did anything wrong, but I still went to jail. So everything that I did, I felt like was right. And I think that people think that it's never going to happen to them. Just look at the environment we live in today and tell me if it's never going to happen to you, and you can prove it's never going to happen to you.